I have here some Abzan Company Finks edition, which is something that I've been thinking a long time about. Had some conversations with a lot of the Discord members about, specifically Garrett and Fox Mitten. So, Abzan Company Finks is a deck that's near and dear to my heart. Um, so I played a league a bit ago. It's on my YouTube channel. You can check that out. Actually, we can probably just link that here. Right there. That is a nostalgia trip I took, where I wanted to go back and see what the old list looked like. Here's the old list for reference. This is the list I played 14 months ago. Won the 10K with. This list was before a lot of new cards have been printed, a lot of new decks, a lot of change has happened in Modern in those last slightly over a year. And it's absolutely incredible how much change has happened in the last year. I want to say your name correctly. Thank you very much for the follow, Carrera to Furacao. Glad you can make it. I haven't been streaming in a little bit. I actually took a break from Magic for a little while, but I'm back in and I love it. Mr. Zurakai, thank you also for the follow. 2 follows so far. Welcome aboard the Doom train, both of you. Glad to have you aboard. Have you ever tried Tastiger and Abzan Finks Company? Believe it or not, I actually have. And Tastiger doesn't fit at all. Tastiger is one of the cards that, when Modern was a not new format, but like at its halfway point, Tastiger is one of my favorite all-time cards. I ran Grixis Control. I ran Geist of Saint Doom. So Geist of Saint Traft is actually, quick story time about Tastigar. See if I can pull it up. So Saint Doom, a lot of people might not know this, but Saint Doom, my internet name, came from this deck. So for a while back, one of my first Modern decks played Deathrite Shaman, Geist of Saint Traft, Tribal Flames, and Elspeth. Now, for those who don't know what that deck was trying to do, and I ran Snapcaster Mage. That deck was it was just trying to burn you out. Turn 1 Deathrite Shaman, turn 2 Geist of Saint Traft, turn 3 Elspeth, swing for a lot, and then from there, Tribal Flame, Snapcaster Mage, just burn you out, especially what the residual Deathrite Shaman can do. Deathrite Shaman got banned, the deck didn't work anymore. So what I transitioned into was, eventually I found Jeskai Geist just didn't do it for me. Like, I loved the deck, but it didn't know what it wanted to be. So I brewed this deck, and this deck here, it looks like a control deck, but it's secretly a burn deck. And my opponents would face it, say, oh, you're playing Jeskai Geist. Okay, yep. Don't watch out for those cryptic commands. There's no cryptic commands here. And if you look at the mana base and everything else, yeah, it's a 4-color deck, but there's no double color of any single... I never need double of any color. So the mana base is actually pretty easy to go. Sorry, I was proud of this mana base from a deck that I played 3.5 years ago. But I ran Tastiger in this, just as an extra big body. Almost every single spell in this deck, they almost all deal damage. And with Snapcaster Mage and a single Geist hit, I could usually kill my opponent. If I couldn't, then I could just land a Tastiger and try to grind my opponent out, especially with all these really powerful interactive cards I have. So this was the deck, Geist of Saint Doom. Saint Doom was the name I stuck with, but this was the deck that I fell in love with Tastiger. I wanted to run more and more Tastiger. I tried Grixis Control, Esper Control, Obstat decks. I played Tastiger in Abzan Traverse, which I think ended up being a mistake, so I ended up cutting him. But I have tried Tastiger in like a Kitchen Finks decks. it's good, but unfortunately, there's better things I can run that aren't Coco hits, and one of those cards is July. So, quick little story time. But yeah, go check out the old YouTube videos. I just ran through a league and then I think 3 Qs, like the $2 Qs you can do at MTGO, and ended up being, spoilers, I won 6 of 8 with this old list. It was fun. One of the matches I definitely should have mulliganed to 5 in one hand, but it's fun. You can check that out. So hopefully, Mr. Zurkai, I answered your question. Let me know. Let me know if I didn't. Longest way around that answer. But this is back to the deck at hand. Let me. Yeah, none of those. I tweeted out the list here. Oh, that's a Discord link, not the tweet. Here we go. All right. Been working through this list and how I feel about it. I still love Court of Calling. I think that's what the nostalgia trip kind of reminded me of, that Court of Calling is still a very powerful Magic card. But the problem with Court of Calling is that it costs 1 more mana than Finale of Devastation. It is instant speed, but it costs 1 more mana. And yes, you get to tap your creatures to help pay its cost, but Giver isn't something you really want to tap for a chord, and you can, but it might be a little awkward, and it doesn't give you green. So if we just look at this list right here, this list is once again built around Collected Company more so than anything else, because we have a ton of these 3-drops here. We have so many 3-drops here. And I feel a little awkward having less mana dorks to help power that out, but this deck with Giver can last a little bit longer of a game, which I'm interested in. I'm always interested in decks that can survive. So this list in particular, one of the first things I said, I want to give Giver of Runes a real shot. And if you're running Giver of Runes and you want to make sure you have a lot of white sources, turn 1. So if we look right here, we have 15 turn 1 white sources. We only need 14 according to Magic Math from Frank Karsten to reliably cast my white 1-drop. Obviously I have even more green ones, so I can definitely cast my birds and my nobles. Now I do run Ranger Captain of Eos, which is a little awkward with the mana being double white, which means I need to be a little bit more cognizant of getting that double white. So because of that, what I'm going to end up doing is counting these 15 sources and these 6 dudes, half of them, so I end up getting to the 18, which I need to reliably cast a double white. Something I'm not on right now, which could be incorrect, is I'm not on a Godless Shrine. I might want to be on a Godless Shrine to help cast Ranger Captain and help cast like Giver and things like that. I just really don't like Godless Shrine in a deck that, if you look at it, how much green I have here. Like Overgrown Tomb's almost always going to be the answer. I feel like Godless Shrine's not a card I ever want to see, unless I'm already winning, and like really fringe spots. I am only running 2 Ranger Captains. I am not running a Duskwatch Recruiter. I think Finale of Devastation is a superior card. But I am maxing out an Ewit so I can take advantage of the Finale Ewit kind of combo. So what I can do if I have infinite mana, I can chord into Ranger Captain, which triggers and gets me my Ballista. I can chord and just kind of go from there. Or I can Finale into Ballista straight up. So I can still kind of win off of kind of like pretending I have Duskwatch Recruiter with these Ranger Captains, which are just a superior card. Hey Steven, how's it going? It's updated. I still don't know. This experiment, we'll see how it goes. I'm going over like the mana base and everything, which I'm content with. I think 2 Gavany Townships feel awkward, but I still hit all my colored sources. And as the Nostalgia Trip League kind of showed, Gavany Township with Kitchen Finks is still a reliable way to win a game. If we go to the sideboard, I'm running 5 spot removal spells, which combos pretty well with my 4 Eternal Witness main board. I have my grind package here with the 3 Plague Engineers, Skoos, Shalai, Tracker, Knight of Autumns. So I have ways to kind of slow down and win the game. Plague Engineer is really good against Thopter combo. It's also really good against humans, Death Shadow, and things like that. 0 decays for Oko. I'm not super... Maybe it's wrong of me, but I'm not actually super worried of Oko. I think most Druid lists can get pretty destroyed by Oko, but this is a Druid Finks list, so if they Oko my Druid, I can still gain infinite life and kill them. And most Oko decks will fold to infinite life. And if they just give me a bunch of 3/3s, this deck is better at the fair beatdowns, so I'm not as worried about that. And I think Assassin's Trophy is just much better in our game plan than Abrupt Decay. What's our plan for Tron and E-Tron? So both of those I'm going to be cutting the Kitchen Finks package. If anyone wants, they can go on the Discord. You can look at my old sideboard guide. It's still, all the data there is still relevant, the thought process, everything else. Not much has changed for most of these matchups. Carrion Feeder instead of Viscera Seer hurts me, but it's concession to those particular matchups. Game 1, where my Infinite Life combo can now swing and kill Tron or E-Tron. Against Tron in particular, I'm just going for a straight up turn 1 Giver, turn 2 Druid kill. That's my plan. Mulligan for that. I do have some cards for that matchup, but not a ton. Against E-Tron, again, Infinite Life doesn't really win the game, but I can bring in cards which can slow my opponent down. Even cards like Plague Engineer can be consideration there because it kills the way they win the game. Knight of Autumn obviously comes in, and so does Assassin's Trophy and my removal spells. I thought about Revoker and thought about Oof. Those are like my 16th and 17th sideboard cards. I don't love that Collector Oof shuts off my Ballista or my Clues. I just don't know if it does enough against Urza, to be fair, which is where Revoker would come in. Revoker definitely does enough against Urza. Revoker also can shut down random things like Karn, which I like, or Ballista. Like my opponent's Ballista, if I need that. So maybe I just don't respect like those. I think those matchups are fine without those pieces, and I tend to lean a little bit harder on the other end. Yeah, Oof doesn't do, it just doesn't do enough. Like if there was a lot of affinity running around, I would run Oof. Like if there was a lot of KCI or different things that Oof just slam dunked. But when I'm running if I'm running a sideboard card, I either want it to be flexible, like Plague Engineer or Scavenging Ooze, or I want it to be a slam dunk, punch you in the face, I just won, I played this card, therefore I won the game. Neither of those cards do that against any of the decks we're looking to beat, so that's that. But my thought process on having a fluid sideboard, all of that's written. Check out the Discord. My sideboard guide is there. I know it's a year old, but actually it's not even that old. I updated it for Hogak, the Hogak summer. But the thought process and everything is there for how to approach specific matchups. So that's that. I'll still answer questions if anyone has any, but let's hop in. So I'm not a huge fan of Giver, just in general, but every time I play it, I always seem to be overwhelmingly happy with it. It's just not a card which in my head I don't love it, but then when I play it, I end up liking it just fine. It's really good against opponents that have a little bit of interaction, but not a ton. Okay, so general rule of thumb, I want to mulligan any hand that doesn't have a Druid or a Mana Dork in it, and now I'm going to extend that to, or a Giver with enough lands to cast other things. This hand will go, assuming I draw land, turn 1 nothing, turn 2 Vizier, our worst possible card in our deck, turn 3 Kitchen Finks, turn 4 Ranger Captain. Even if I draw 2 lands, this hand could be a turn 4 Infinite Life. Right, turn 1 nothing, turn 2 Vizier, turn 3 Finks, turn 4 Captain, get a Sacrifice Outlet, and go. That's if we draw 2 lands, or like a dork off the top. It just doesn't do anything. Oh, hey Francisco. Oh, it's too late. I'm sorry. Glad to see you. How'd your league end up? Yep, Giver's definitely weaker here, Steven. I think I can do better than 5 lands. I guess 1 land is better. Let's keep this. Bottom Vizier.
I like turtles.
Hey Andrew, thank you very much for the resub. 10 months. Wow. That is a long time. So I'm gonna bottom. I think I'm also bottom the Eternal Witness here. And I need to hit a land. You're definitely in the right chat, yeah. So we see Overgrown Tomb into Birds of Paradise. I'm not really sure what that means, but our opponent's going to see something similar from us. Hopefully we draw 1 more land so we can start casting Collected Company. I hope we're not playing the Mirror. The Mirror on the draw with a bad hand isn't what I want to see. Honestly, this might be an Oko deck. Like an Oko deck that's forcing Birds of Paradise to help cast like turn 2 Planeswalkers. I considered like a Sultai Oko deck with turn 2 Liliana and but just didn't do enough. Engineer is very good in the Mirror, absolutely. Just name human and your opponent can't cast Vizier. Okay, that hurt us more than our opponent will know. I did not cast Vizier because Vizier doesn't do very much. I might cast Vizier in a bit. Oh, we're up against Niv Mizzet. We might just be dead here. Yeah. So far I also didn't play Vizier because in case something like this happens, my opponent isn't 100% sure what we're on yet. So let's think best case scenario. I play a land. Next turn I draw on land and play a land. I'll take 6. I can't combo because my opponent has all of this removal. I'm just dead here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you multiply and our opponent casts a turn 3 Niv Mizzet, I feel like we're not going to win that one. How do I approach this matchup? I think Shalai is important. Can they beat Infinite Life? I don't think they can beat the Infinite Life combo. Yeah. I'm not... Niv Mizzet doesn't matter. It's Niv Mizzet's trigger that matters. So the only card I'm really actually interested in here is Shalai, and I guess maybe Sin Collector. Shalai is one of those cards that just like almost always should be main board, but sometimes you don't have room. She single-handedly hoses certain decks, and I really love her with Chord of Calling. One of my favorite moments, I was playing... one of my favorite moments against Shalai, I was playing my Naya Valakut deck, and I cast Scapeshift, and my opponent asked me to direct the targets. And I said, okay, because I'm playing in paper, and I pointed them at my opponent. But I floated all my mana before I cast Scapeshift like any good Scapeshift player. And my opponent corded for Shalai and like had like this like smug look, like, oh, like all your triggers are, gone now. And before my triggers resolved, I pathed my opponent, and yeah, I won that one. So Sin Collector seems pretty good. Shalai seems good. I think I'm gonna trim Cord and an Ewit. It's either I think I'm gonna trim a Ranger. I'm just gonna trim a Finks. Like it does. I think Ranger Captain just helps me with my Druid plan a little bit more. I kind of like this. These are my break fire cards. Sinkhole Collector. Yeah, I should probably read Francisco. So turn 1 Bird. Turn 2 Ranger Captain. Turn 3 Collected Company if I hit another land. This hand is okay. Yeah, Ren and 6 can wreck me. I don't love this hand, but Ranger Captain seems pretty good in certain spots. Yep. I have copies of Sinkhole. I like it. Not in this deck, obviously. I think I'll keep this. It's not a turn 3 win. Oh, okay. Sorry. Missed that part. Yeah, this hand is a functional hand. It's not particularly great against this matchup. Well, we actually get to go Carrion Feeder, Bird, pass turn, and we get to Coco instead. So Cocoing next turn is much better than playing like a Ranger Captain there. Because if we hit a Druid, we can just win the game. Is there a good company deck in Pioneer? I've been looking. I tried brewing a Bant version. It didn't feel the same. Honestly, I just want like Malira. I want like Malira Finks combo in Pioneer. It's not going to happen, but it's my dream. I'm not going to fetch this land unless I need to for some reason. I'd rather draw a land if I can. So in case my opponent kills one of these birds, it can be rough. Spirits and Pioneer is pretty good. I think the blue-white version might be better. It's more consistent, even though the mana is a little bit... The mana is way better, which just makes it more... Just the top end, without Collected Company, is way worse. Like, Collected Company is just a 2-for-1 in Spirits, which is what you're looking for in a lot of matchups. But I think the blue-white version is a little bit better. I haven't played a ton of Pioneer. I've posted almost every league I've played of it. I was playing some Field of the Dead decks. I was playing Sultai Field, and I liked it. And then they banned Field, rightfully so. I tried some Sultai mid-range. It felt okay. I would really love a good Collected Company deck, though. Like, not a grindy Collected Company deck, but a Collected Company deck that has some combo it can fall into. Which I was saying, like, Malira would be perfect. Even if that's, like, Jund Collected Company with Goblins, if there's some Goblin combo. So just something where I can Collected Company and say, oops, I win, 10% of the time. Yeah, I tried Abzan Company. I tried Bant. Interesting, your opponent played Blood Crypt. They didn't play, like, they must have just drawn this bird or the fetched land. I'm not really sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just going to pass here. I guess there's no reason not to attack with my carrion feeder. Biomancer's Familiar. What is that card? Eyeless Watcher's a 4-drop. I know that one. I don't want a 4-drop. I want to be able to company into my combo. Biomancer's Familiar. Okay, so you can flicker and just make infinite. All right, that's okay. Got Devoted Druid, and we got Ranger Captain. I don't know why they didn't try killing my bird, I guess. Just that activation felt awkward. Yeah, their mana's a little awkward here. It's got to be a trophy or decay. I thought about sacking the Ranger Captain, but they can just do it in response, so it doesn't really do anything. Ooh. Dreadbore. I was not expecting that. I was expecting trophy or decay. I could have sacked the Ranger Captain to prevent them from casting this. That's painful. Okay. One, two, three, four, 5 potential mana. So I kill the run in 6. Yeah, Dreadbore felt that felt awkward. That was a little painful. I think I'm interested in maybe Giver here. So I can go, I shock in the Temple Garden, play Giver. I still can Ballista to kill the bird. So Francisco, it doesn't matter if my Ballista dies. Now that Druid's dead, I'm still a couple turns away from comboing anyway. And I have 4 Eternal Witnesses, so I can definitely get Ballista back if I need it. I think Giver just has a higher ceiling here. So I can sacrifice Ranger Captain here. Like, what can my opponent have to kill me? They're at 11. I can play both of these creatures next turn, sacrifice them to Carrion Feeder, sacrifice this. It's 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. I can put my opponent to 2 if I sack a Ranger Captain here. I don't think... Like, what could they have to kill me here? Anger of the Gods would be rough. So I think I'm just kind of safe here. I can't kill them if... I can't kill them and sacrifice the Ranger Captain. I can't do both. Sure. Man, I would have just straight up won if I'd sacrificed that Ranger Captain. I just was expecting Trophy or Decay and not Dreadbore. Okay. Don't want to do anything different here. Yeah, I think they should have taken Vizier also. They were dead regardless, unless they had like exactly Fatal Push or like a Decay. They don't run Push though, so... I love Viscera Seer. Viscera Seer has won me so many games just by like sacking my board to scry to an infinite combo. But yeah, that was pretty nice having a pretty big carrying feeder there. I don't think I really do anything different here. I think Sin Collector still being able to take like an Anger of the Gods or Bring to Light's important. But I think I'm just running back this exact same plan. Like if they have Resolve and Niv Mizzet, a Path's not going to do anything because at that point they've just drawn enough cards where they're probably stopping me from winning anyway. Turn 1 Giver, turn 2 Vizier, turn 3 Finks doesn't really do anything. So I'm going to mulligan this hand. Especially without any black mana, so like even if I drew, I would have to draw Perfect to be able to turn 4 win this. Yeah, I could have sacked Ranger Captain and then played out the combo pieces. But then, like, what if they, in response to that, Abrupt Decayed something else, then, like, I was really, really done. Yep, I used to run 2 Viscera Seers in my older lists. So my opponent's on the play, so they can have Helix up, they can have like Decay up, and my opponent seems to love bolting my bird. So if I go turn 1 bird, I need to hit another land. Like this hand really needs to hit another land. What do you guys think, chat? Do you mulligan this? If we hit a land, I go turn 1 bird, turn 2 ranger, or something, turn 3 company. We saw our opponent can cast a turn 3 Niv Mizzet, so I think that this might be too slow. Yep, I agree with you, Steven. Yeah. And our opponent likes killing the bird. So I don't think I can really go to 4 here. I'll bottom the carrion feeder. I'll bottom a Finks. I'll keep this here. I really wish this Giver was a Noble Hierarch, though. I think bolting the bird in general is kind of wrong nowadays. Like if you think about it, the scary thing's usually the follow-up play. Unless you're playing like an Oko deck that you know you can't beat like a turn 2 Oko. Yeah. I'm seeing both Gavinies, it's painful. Again, we have 15 white sources in this deck, so we have enough to consistently cast Ranger Captain on curve. That's not even counting our mana dorks. This is just a bad hand. Yeah, this is not a good mulligan here. Like, we need to draw a land, okay, and a collected company to really kind of catch up here. Yeah, if we the 6 was definitely, the 6 needed to be, this is better than the 6. We still need to draw a land. We have 18 lands left in the deck. This is a stupid card against me. It's probably going to work out. You're going to be able to flip that thing because I can't cast a darn spell. Come on. Yep, so that flips and we die. Huntmaster of the Fells should not be brought in against Devoted Druid decks. Maybe we're supposed to keep that 7. I think it's right to mulligan down. Like, that should not have happened. Like, we should be able to cast a spell a turn. I'm playing a ton of green sources. Here's the list. Yeah, this game's over. But the list here, so if you just want to look at green sources, get rid of the 2 Gavinies. There's 19. We have 19 lands that can get green mana or, 18. No, I don't think playing 2 townships. I think the mana base is fine with 2 townships. I don't see how we come back from this game. But we did draw one of the few cards. Like, now we need to just draw a land. And not Razorverge Thicket. And then maybe we can sneak into an Infinite Life combo. Oh, we're just dead. To be fair, yep. But I do run, as long as you have the 18 green and or white sources. And unlike Amulet, I do run a ton of mana. I run mana dorks, which helps. So that was rough. Let's update the record here. So that was kind of lost on. It was a really rough mulligan that really hurt that. I didn't side out any mana dorks, but sometimes I do. Yes, in games I do. Honestly, with because of Giver, I actually don't side them out as much. I'll side out 1 or 2 dorks against Run and 6, and I do go way bigger. Against Jund-style decks, what I like to do is I like to side out like 2. Yeah, I'll keep 4 dorks, but just try to go as big as possible and try to hit 3 lands, and then hope to eventually draw the 4th land into a bird, company. I'm not really too worried about Run and 6 decks, to be honest. This hand is garbage. This hand is hot garbage. So I'll mulligan this. I'll keep this, but we really need to hit a second land. A second land or a dork off the top would be perfect here. you don't play Abzan Company Finks because you're playing a tier 1 deck. No, it's not. But this is, there we go. This is not a tier 1 deck. It used to be a deck that I could play and compete with tier 1 decks. And then Phoenix happened and Devoted Druid got a lot worse. So up against humans here, which I feel really comfortable that we can just straight up kill them. If this Coco hits a... Okay. What are you naming? Off of this information, what is my opponent naming? And they name the correct card. All right. Because I can't play my Druid, I don't think I want to play the other Giver right here. That's real good play for my opponent. Yeah, Carlos Almeida. Oh! I actually think I played this opponent on a Druid deck like 2 days ago. I should check YouTube. I'm pretty sure when I played my old Finks list in that league, I'm pretty sure I played this exact same opponent. No, I don't think they're ghosting. Even my name is different too, so even if they were ghosting. So if I play the Giver here, I can get pretty far ahead, right? But I thin my deck and have a less of a chance of hitting my third land drop. Once I hit 3, I have my 4th because of Ewit. So I can play my Giver. I got to clog up the ground, but I think these two kind of clog up the ground too. Oh, I'm not attacking. So I fetch another Temple Garden, play Giver. Yeah. I really just want to try to hit my third land drop, though. If they deputy detention me, I'm going to cry a little bit. This is their window to do it right now. Because they can deputy detention this Giver, and I can't do anything about it. But next turn, I can protect the Givers from themselves. So they can't cast Deputy because their mana is a little awkward with Unclaimed Territory, even if they have it. Yeah, true. I think Thinning and Shocking, though. Okay. But yeah, this exact same opponent, I'm pretty sure I played them in a very fun matchup. Yep. Can't do anything here. I'll just pass. With the old Abzan Finks list. If it's the player I'm thinking of, I actually beat them with Gavany Township. This is brutal. This has been a brutal league so far. It was nothing like this the last league I ran with the old list. But Meddling Mage off of naming Devoted Druid is a brilliant line. I think my opponent, I think they recognized the name from someone who beat them like 2 days ago. So sure. So best possible draw would be like a fetch land or something. And then I can Ewit any land, and I can play Ewit and get my 4th land for Coco. Clearly the old list is better. Giver of Runes, you're a terrible card. Get out of here. Let's bring back Renegade Rallier and Safi Eric's daughter. So Meddling Mage now can name Collected Company. Which, if I remember correctly, the last time I played this opponent, they blindly named Collected Company, even though nobody runs Collected Company anymore. Okay, Giver of Runes because they know about it. Hey, Ian, thank you very much for the resub. 10 months. That is amazing. I think it's as long as I've been streaming. I think I've only been streaming 10 months. I think you are like one of my first 3 subs, so thank you very much. Land. There we go. Don't run a basic swamp, so it doesn't matter which land I get here. Yep. So my hope here is to cast Collected Company next turn, hit a Devoted Druid, or go Kitchen Finks. Kind of the Kitchen Finks route. Wisely not attacking with the Meddling Mage here. Would I consider streaming some all-in Druid? Absolutely. I have done it before. With the lunges and whatnot. I absolutely can do that. No Thalia in play, nothing I need to worry about, so just pass here. Ideally, I can Collected Company... I can't... If I shock here, I go down to 6, right? But if I Collected Company into exactly Kitchen Finks and Vizier, I want the black mana to cast Carrion Feeder. I just don't think I live otherwise. Yeah, at least there's no Thalia. Thanks, Francisco. You're making me feel a lot better. This is rough so far. Yeah, that is Alpha Strike here, right? So... Alright, block, block. That's taking 12. So I can't afford... So if I go down to 6... Yeah, I can't afford to shock here. Double Finks. Still alive. I need to do that and find a way to cast this guy. So I need to draw an overgrown tomb or a fetch land and hit well off of this Galactic Company. Okay. Yeah. They should just literally attack with everything. Yep. Alright, even if I hit Coco, I'm still dead. And that's way more than I have. Sending you on tilt, Francisco. So I'm going to bring in removal spells. I have Plague Engineer for this exact matchup. Knight of Autumn is a possibility, and so is Shalai. Cards I'm less interested in. Court of Calling. I can trim a Ranger Captain. Probably a Coco. I couldn't play the feeder. I had no black mana. Oh, if we kept the birds alive. I see what you're saying. Yep. Yeah, I don't think we had enough mana to do that. $64. What else do I want to trim here? Here, I'll trim one of the mismatched Ewits. I think I like this here. I'm trimming a Collected Company, even though it's one of the best cards in my deck, because my opponent's that's an easy name for my opponent's Meddling Mages. Yeah, this is a mulligan. Another one lander, man. They have to mulligan this. Embrace the Greed. Oh, for hand one? Yeah. Like, I can go turn one Giver. If I hit a second land... Alright, so I have 20 lands and 6 mana dorks. If I hit any of those, I'm safe. That's 26, that's 50%. I'm losing anyway. Thanks, Francisco. I'm going to bottom... I'm going to bottom the Coco. I can always path my own Giver if I need to. Opponent mulls to 5, which is important to note. Alright, we're coming back here. We're coming back. We got Plague Engineer in our deck. So believe it or not, the math of this mana base actually does check out. Oh. There we go. Sorry about that. That was bugging you. I forgot to turn my speaker down. And my speaker's like right next to my mic. Hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right? So because I brought 3 Plague Engineers in, I think I'm more interested in that, having the access to the black mana here. Hey, Sohi Decido. Yeah, I don't like the MTGO sounds at all. No more, no longer. No longer a win. You had to curse me. You had to curse me, Steven. So they have to take the finale here, and then I path my opponent, and if I don't draw a land, if I draw a land, I can path them and finale and win the game. Yep, wisely taking it, because if they took the path, it doesn't matter, I just kill them. But now I have to draw a land to kill my opponent. Oh, yep, definitely a bot. Thanks, Ian. I don't know. Am I a? I should probably update that. 1, 2, 3. So I can Ewit for a land if I put a -1/-1 counter on Druid, and then I can fetch shock path and then be fine. But it's the exact same thing. Ewitting for a land actually just is bad. So I'm just gonna do this here and then pass the turn, path the Kite Sail freebooter, and then win next turn. There we go. Yeah, Meddling Mage, Reflector Mage doesn't do much. Meddling Mage is the one card I have to really worry about here, but I can't play around it. Keeping Eternal Witness in my hand means that Finale is a win. Okay, opponent's digging for Meddling Mage. Alright, Francisco, you're a mod now. On 1, I don't think I care about that. Feels good to have your sword. There you go. Oh, this is awkward. Oh, this is so awkward. Alright, so I have to path the freebooter with the finale. The new freebooter takes the finale, and then I Ewit. Yeah. I have to path this one. Oh, hold on. Let me back up. What do you mean if I path freebooter in response? Oh. See, this is what happens with the late night streams when I'm drinking beer. You're right. So then they couldn't play, so they couldn't target the Kite Sail. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. See, this is why this is why you're a mod, Francisco. All right, so I'm going to path this one. The finale will go in my hand. They'll take the finale here. The next turn I can Ewit and go from there, and I'm just one piece off. I'm sure Kevin's going to go through and take that exact picture and make it an emote. Yeah, I'm just one piece away from winning, so... yeah. Alright, so I'm still one piece away from winning. Yeah. So you're saying pat that one, but this way, alright. Either way, I wasn't having the finale in my hand. Alright, punt counter. Let's up it. Yep. And now they meddling mage named Path. I couldn't really do anything there, because if they had another image or another kite sail, like, then the Path wouldn't have done as much either, so... yeah. Alright, I still have one card in hand. I have to take it in case they have Reflector Mage. Like, I can't do the giver trick. Oh, this is brutal. This is because of my mistake here. I'm going to blame my wife's beer on this. It's a homebrew. So punished for this. So punished for the misplay. I still do well if I draw Like to Company. Yeah, this mistake is clearly the difference here. So, Assassin's Trophy, 1, 2, 1. Assassin's Trophy can win us this game. Nothing I can do. I guess I could have given Druid protection, but... alright, I'm going to F6 and get a beer. Yeah, this is not variance. This is my mistake. Thanks, Francisco. Have a good one. Yes, I should have had a free block here. Another little mistake. That's the second punt of this game. Yeah, this is nothing to do with variance. This is 100%. This game, we should be in game 3 right now. So what do we lose to? Yeah, I mean, I made a mistake. We should be in game 3, but even still, despite that, I feel like the deck's not drawing particularly well. The mulligans have been real. The mulligans I can blame on variance. The decision making is all my fault. There's the deck list there. Okay, we have hope. So I think what I do is I cast Giver. Pass. Right, because even if I hit Vizier, it doesn't actually do anything here. So what I'm actually looking for is like double Kitchen Finks or Finks and Vizier, something like that. Plague Engineer would be pretty sweet. I brought in, what, 3 of them? Haven't seen one yet. Yeah, that's fine. So the real question I have here is, do I Coco before or after blocks? How would Company have killed Thalia? Oh, this one? Oh. I guess we could do a pre-combat, but I'd rather try to catch my opponent in something. I think I want to... The only way I think I win this game... Blocking Company? Yeah, I think I need to sacrifice pretty much everything but the Druid. So I can take 1 hit. I need to block this. I can take 1 hit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can block all of those. Yeah. All right. So I think I have to block with the Druid here. It's either that or I have to hit a Collected Company. All right. So I'm going to dig 6 deep. I have 4 Finks and 3 Plague Engineers. Either one is fine. Hey, welcome aboard the Doom Train. Guccia Caramel? I'm probably butchering your name here. It's Do I block with Druid? I don't think I'm winning this game with Druid. I think I have to block with the Druid here. Double Plague Engineer would be... Alright. Single Plague Engineer is fine, too. Yeah, this game's over. I guess I'll see my draw step, but... Yep. Didn't hit what we needed to hit there. Let's go to the next one. rough league. We should have won that game. Should have gone to game 3. That was on me. That was definitely on me. So we've seen with these terrible mulligans we've had so far, we've kind of seen one of the reasons why I don't really like Giver of Runes, and that's that playing Giver means you have to lower your mana dork count, and lowering your mana dork count makes your hands more awkward. Like most of these hands would have been a lot better if they were Noble Hierarch instead of a Giver. So. So for those who don't know, my wife brews fantastic beer. This is a blueberry wheat. See that beautiful color. This is a home brew she's made herself. Up against Nishima 9 with a good hand. I will keep this. Island, Ether Violets can be humans again. Another awkward thing I've complained about Giver a little bit is just how it works with Court of Calling. It's just a little bit more awkward with Court of Calling than birds would be. Fish? Blue-red fish? Is that a deck? Spreading Seas on my Temple Garden. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So I can still chord. So what I'm looking for is an Eternal Witness, a chord, a Finale, a Coco. Blue-red fish. Well, alright. Okay, so we win the game anyway. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Who needs white mana? Oh, come on. Definitely fish. Silvergill Adept is the card that my opponent got rid of. That was brutal. Now, if they have Bolt or anything here, the game, they can kind of mop up the floor here. Don't tell this to Francisco, but I've never done well when he's in the stream. I'm going to blame Francisco here, now that he's not here. So they have a Lord. Let's just try again, right? Oh, I can't. I already used the counter, so I only have 3 mana. Yeah. Man, Force and Negation is such a good addition to Fish, huh? They need another Force, though, to stop us here. So you get to swing for 8. Put me at 9. Do we win the game? I have 3 extra mana, so a mana leak wouldn't even cut it. Not that our opponent has it, but I'm playing around Spell Pierce here. All right, we win the game. And let's do this one for a little bit. All right, we need 36 for Ballista. And let's switch druids. And back to the second one. Like a turn 5 combo. Okay. Alright, so I want my paths, maybe my trophy. I think I might want my Knight of Autumns here, but Plague Engineer is like the real big draw, right? That's like the best card I can have. Unfortunately, Plague Engineer gets a little bit weaker with Spreading Seas. Opponent's probably going to bring in things like Dismember against me. I think I'll cut... What do I cut? Infinite Life still does work here. Honestly, I think it's Ranger Captain that I trim here. Maybe I don't want Path. I think Plague Engineer might just be enough here. Plague Engineer effectively wipes out each of their lords by itself. I think I want to cut Finale or a Chord. I'll cut a Chord for a Knight of Autumn, just having access to it. Having access to a card that blows up Spreading Seas can be pretty important. Okay, so turn 1 Dork. If I draw Kitchen Finks as a turn, I can't just rely on drawing Kitchen Finks, though. The mulligans in this league have been pretty rough. I think this is a clear mulligan, though. Alright, this hand's much better. Keep and bottom and Ewit. Alright, Fish is a good matchup, so we should be able to wipe the floor with them here. So have you guys ever heard of the Mothman? So the Mothman is a West Virginia folklore, and it's pretty terrifying when you start looking into it. So definitely Wikipedia that. I'll put the link here. Bolting the Giver. You kind of have to do that, but here's a Druid. You're dead if you don't kill that. Or have a force, I guess. Lightning Bolt and Fish. That seems really cool. What else is the red splash for? Someone said Hazaret. That seems awkward. Okay, they're going to make this guy lose all of his abilities. In response, let's just Coco. Wall of Fire. Yeah, I'm sure they're running Wall of Fire. You want to dismember? Okay. All right. I need mana. But I also don't mind just grabbing Kitchen Finks and Carrion Feeder here. And then casting Druid next turn. I think that's the best line here. Oh, no. I missed my land drop. I forgot I still have my draw step left. Alright. Hopefully that doesn't bite us in the butt. Only bites us in the butt if we draw land here. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I know this is it's like a late night stream here, but I like to have fun. Does my opponent have an answer? No? It's raining, it's cold, it might snow Wednesday. Oh, great. I'm starting to hate everything about it. So used to the scry, this just feels so much worse, to be honest. Alright, we win. So we're at 1-2. We're coming back. We're going to 3-2 this league. It's going to snow Wednesday. That's really unfortunate, Ian. Yeah, my original draft of this deck list had a Viscera Seer and a Carrion Feeder, with the idea that I often cord or whatever dig for one anyway. And I do like running two, but I think Giver just kind of cuts out room of the deck. Scry just, honestly, scrying just feels more powerful. Yeah, it's an easy mull. I feel like I've mulled so much more than usual, but here's what it is here. Let's keep this. I think I bottomed the Ewit here. Opponent wrote in chat, and have fun, or and HF. Wandering Fumaroli. That's an interesting card. So I'm going to go turn 2 Finks, turn 3 Company, and kind of see what my opponent does with that. Whoa, opponent's got a bolt. You gonna bolt my bird? No? Maybe? Alright, well, just in case. Saving the Verdant Catacombs to get my black source. Two Wandering Fumaroles and a Polluted Delta. What are we up against here? Opponent didn't mulligan. So... So if they counter this, we'll just Ewit, buy it back, and play Giver. And then swing for 3. Continue on our value plan. If they don't counter it, we might just win the game. Ooh. You know what? For the fact that Force of Negation exiles is probably like my least favorite thing about it. Okay, do I just do this main phase here then? I don't think I do. I think I'm on the same game plan. Make my opponent spend mana on their turn. I don't want to walk into like a Damnation or an Anger of the Gods here. Alright. Opponent flipped 2 lands for me. Thank you. That means they're definitely running that blue-black spell. This little Abzan Collected Company here. Okay. Let's go Giver and Noble here. This is not a good Coco. Grixis control, yep. Yeah. Okay. And this is what makes Collected Company so much better than cards like Finale. Like Finale just like is strictly a combo card. Whereas I'm just gonna swing first here. I know I'm losing 1 point of damage, but it's the same math either way. So I want my opponent to counter the Noble, and then I'll cast the Giver. Okay. Yep. Interesting. So Infinite Life probably doesn't win me here. They probably have Jace or something down to that. Drown in the Loch is the card. Yep. This card doesn't really do too much. Like, I'm surprised like a control deck wants this bad manland. And 2 of them. Like, one of them kind of makes sense maybe. But even this land doesn't actually make sense. Like, you'd think you'd want the 3/2 unblockable land instead. That's way better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I shock, I can play around Mana Leak. I don't hate that. Okay. Not fully sure what my opponent's on. Too late to bolt the Finks, if that's what their plan is. No one runs Terminate anymore. Although I think Terminate is a fantastic card. I think Modern was better when Terminate was good. Do I Coco here to hit a Vizier? I think I might. I take Carrion Feeder. It's a win condition on its own. Take Devoted Druid. It threatens lethal with my Vizier. Opponent's got 4 cards in hand. I think Devoted Druid's the worst card of them. I don't think I'm going to be able to combo against Grixis control. But now I have a bunch of threats in play with my opponent at 8 life. So I'm kind of just a bad aggro deck at the moment. I'm not going to play Vizier. Or should I? Should I just play Vizier? My opponent's still got 4 cards in hand. It depends what my opponent does here, I guess. That makes me determine whether or not I play Vizier. Like if my opponent taps out for something stupid... Alright, 1, 2, 3. If I play Vizier, I can gain infinite life. But they have so much removal for it. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. Change my mind. I'm changing my mind, everyone. Yeah, okay. That's fair. So next turn I get to swing with 2, 4, 7, 8, 9... Plus I get to sack creatures if I need to. I get to attack for lethal next turn. My opponent could have Cryptic in hand. Okay. They didn't cast Cryptic. Yep. See, if that was Viscera Seer, I would have gotten a little bit of value out of it. But here I'm going to put my opponent down to 1, unless they have other removal spells. But they're out of black mana, which has to be awkward for them. Cast Ewit, rebuy Company, and cast Bird again. Okay, opponent concedes. So what do we see? We saw Lightning Bolt, Magmatic Sinkhole, Spell Snare, Fatal Push, Thought Scour, Force of Negation. Interesting. Our opponent did not see Devoted Druid, but they did see Vizier, so I think they can assume that we are a Devoted Druid deck. I'm going to treat this like Jeskai Control or something similar. Where I have these cards here. Now, I don't know... Kitchen Finks is actually much better against Grixis than it is against Jeskai, because this is a 2-for-1, unless they have Anger of the Gods. Alright, cards I definitely want. I want my Mana Dorks. I want my Givers. I want my Devoted Druids. Now, I think I want my Ranger Captains, because they're pretty good against control. I want my Companies. Now, these are the cards I'm less interested in. I think Finale is actually an easy cut. Again, trim a couple of Viziers. I think that might just be it here. Yeah. Drown in the Loch is definitely a good card. Hopefully we can beat that. But what I'm doing here is because this is Grixis and not Jeskai, they don't have access to Path to Exile, so my Kitchen Finks are actually still relevant. Infinite Life might not win the game, but... what's the reason I went back to Finks? Nostalgia. 100% nostalgia. I don't think this is well positioned at the moment. I don't think it's the best version of Devoted Druid. I don't even think it's the best Collected Company deck right now. What I do think is that this deck is a lot of fun. I think there's something very strange about this deck that I love so much about it, in that it has this amazing turn 3 win, right? I cast turn 2 Devoted Druid. My opponent has to respect that. And despite the fact that this deck isn't even built around that, this deck is not built around a turn 3 win with Devoted Druid, my opponent still has to go, I have to be ready for that Devoted Druid. And when they do that, they open themselves up to this back door of Gavany Township, Kitchen Finks, Carrion, it used to be Viscera Seer, but Collected Company, they just E-Wit loops. Like, they just open their door to this back door of just value that I can just jam down their throat because they have to respect my Devoted Druid. And I love that. I love that about this deck. Opponent took all the time to submit their deck here. There's just something about this deck that makes me feel like it's just a fair deck that can get to do unfair things. And I love that about it. Yep. Yeah, I can keep this against a control deck. Druid Karn was a deck that gave me a similar feel for a little while, and I still love that deck. I think that deck's great, but there's something about Collected Company where you win and you lose by the top of your deck that I just kind of love. Yeah, if I can get Shalai and Giver down together, I think I'm pretty well off here. I kind of wish opponent was digging for lands there because they weren't going to find them. Assume Giver's dead here. Okay, there's my Devoted Druid, which my opponent now sees. Just in case they have Gut Shot, right? Got to play around that Gut Shot. Okay. So I can play Eternal Witness, buy back Devoted Druid or Giver, or I can just play Giver and pass. I'm just going to play Giver and pass. Hey Fox Mitten, how's it going? Welcome to a... This is one of the few times where I probably drink and I don't 3-2. Chicken nuggets are the best. Alright, let's shock here. Why did our opponent play Mystic Sanctuary? They didn't get any triggers off of it. They just played it as a tap land. Does that mean they have Cryptic Command? So, do I cast Collected Company now? I think I'm just going to cast Shalai now and see what they do. Fox, it held your, it thought you said something racy when you wrote nuggets with a misspell. I was like, why is it holding that Why is it holding that? Alright. Lots of options here. The first one, though, is that we're definitely going to attack. Always attack against a Cryptic Command deck first. I can hold up Collected Company and cast it. I can cast Devoted Druid. I can... Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was. It was just holding that. I think I'm just going to play Devoted Druid and pass. If my opponent wants to counter this, that means they don't have the counter for... Oh, it's Spell Snare. I was going to say they don't have the counter for a Collected Company, but... I love Chord. I think Chord is a wonderful card that adds a lot of fun elements to a deck. I don't love Chord and Giver. That's one thing I don't love. So I'm not running Duskwatch Recruiter. Oh, for my list. Nope. That's the Mothman. That's my list. Check out the Mothman. That's my list there. I'm intrigued with it. It's working so far. Yeah, I think Finale is just a better, just better doing what it does. So I can play Eternal Witness and then buy back Druid and cast Druid, but I think I'm just gonna make my opponent waste a turn effectively. Like they're at 9 life. I beat them last game with a fair beatdown plan, so I think I just want to like try to force them to tap out at some point. And I have this Giver Shalilok. Like I just kill them in 3 turns if they don't do anything. Hey, Ghost Dog, how's it going? I don't know if Pioneer has a good options. I'm gonna thin my deck a bit. Force of Negation exiling is the worst part of Force of Negation. I hate it so much. Alright, let's play the Scavenging Ooze. That quickens up my clock quite a bit. Of course, to get the Spell Snare. Alright, Ewit it is then. I'm going to buy back the Skoos. It's the only threat that's really there. Spellqueller is a fantastic company hit in Pioneer, but it is not a human. That's correct. I'm going to attack first. I'm going to cast Skoos and Sin Collector. Okay. If my opponent wants to tap out for a Fumarole, I'm fine with that. I don't know what my opponent's deck is, but I feel like I'm way ahead. Yeah. There we go. I'm going to take a 90-second break, and then I'll play the next one. There's the deck, and I will be right back. That was close to 90 seconds, right? All right, let me catch up on chat. Renegade, Rallier, and Charming Prince. Yeah. Is Safi Eriksdotter? Probably not. But if Safi Eriksdotter was legal, her, Rallier, any sack outlet is infinite enter the battlefield triggers. This is probably the fairest hand we could possibly have. But if turn 2 Kitchen Finks is good, this hand is very good. Harpy and Storm. So I'm going to go... grab a Tomb here. I'm going to go turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Druid, and then try to win the game from there. I have double white for my Ranger Captain. Yeah, good Thalia. Looks like my opponent's holding up Remand. Come on, bolt my dork. Come on, you won't do it. This is definitely a Remand. No? Okay. Yeah, opponent's got to be on Storm, right? They topped that last opt and topped again. That's not a good sign for me. Infinite Life, very good versus Storm. Yep, that's actually my game plan right now. I assume they have some way of dealing with this Druid. Hopefully I can get some extra mana off of her to play Finks into Ranger Captain, who fetches my 1 creature, and I just need a Vizier, or some way to get Vizier, and I'm fine here. So this is for the 3-2. This is for the Mothman's 3-2 here. Going to Foxmitten, I always at least 3-2 when I drink beer. Opponent does not have a third land. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I can Ranger Captain and Kitchen Finks. I actually don't hate that line. So I think I'm going to do that. I could just play second Kitchen Finks, but I think the Ranger Captain's got a higher ceiling. Gonna fall to 17 here. Our Storm matchup is not good. If our opponent is a very good Storm player, I don't think we stand a chance, but they've been digging really hard, and I'm going to say they've been topping a bunch, and they still missed a land drop here. Which means I don't think they... Like, you want to hit your third land, right? Do I know when the correct time? If they cast Gifts Ungiven, I crack it then. If they cast Past in Flames, I crack it then. Does that it? I think that's an easy rule of thumb. There's obviously other lines and other things to consider. Right now I'm on a beatdown plan, so I value the 3/3 body, especially when my opponent is not threatening to kill me with 2 lands in play and no cost reducers. Hey Steven, when is the next local tournament? I always am terrible at there's a brawl. Always terrible at knowing when they are. Do I crack this Horizon Canopy? Okay. So I would have 3 mana left if I crack this Horizon Canopy. If I hit exactly Vizier, I can just win the game. I think I should do it. Not a Vizier. Alright. Well, let's go to combat. Normally I'd play double, so normally I play Druid here to have the second Druid to be safe against like a Bolt effect, but I'm really hard in the Kitchen Finks line anyway, and either way I need a Vizier. A Vizier wins me the game with or without Druid in play. So I'm not too worried about that. Okay. I should have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yep. So I have enough mana to E-Wit, rebuy back Ranger Captain, and do this again to my opponent next turn. As long as I don't have remand. Also, neat interaction. One thing I love about the Kitchen Finks variants of this deck is I can gain 2 life at any point whenever I want because of Carrion Feeder. Oh, is that there was a, I heard about that. Was that in Greenfield, Steven? Well, that kind of stinks. I actually don't want you to draw this card. So now I need to draw a land to be able to E-Wit back Ranger Captain. I liked mono red back in standard. I was playing it on Arena. I think I might have a video up of it. But yeah, I don't enjoy playing mono red in tournaments. On Arena it was perfect because it was just kind of like something you just do in the background. All right. Perfect. Green, 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 E-Wit. Look at this value here. Oh, nope, nope, nope. White, white, white. Ranger Captain. grab Ballista and go to town here. Now, can I win? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can just win here, huh? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. That's awkward. See if they block here. All right. Wait till it blocks. Eh. Okay, so I just win because of Ballista. They could have remand. So if they have remand, I can't win because they block here. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it then. Okay. They have to block the feeder. Okay. Its opponent should be at 3. That's Poetic Ritual. Desperate Ritual. Are we about to steal a game from Storm? Maybe, maybe not. Pioneer I like. Is it Phoenix? Yeah, it's enough for them to win, but are they going to? I also get to gain 2 life out of nowhere, so they have to deal 16. It's probably fine for them, but they need Past in Flames in their hand. Okay. All right, I think we're going to go to game 2 in a second here. Opponent should be able to remand their own Grape Shot for the win. Actually, Past in Flames makes it so you can't remand that, right? Yeah. They do. So, yeah, Storm count. I can go up to 16. Wait. Is this premature? Did they premature grape shot me? Alright. Let them win here. This game looked very good for us. But yeah, alright. I was like, you gotta have another one, right? I thought maybe. So let's bring in Sin Collector, Scooz, Shalai. Giver of Runes is not nearly as good here. And I don't like Path against Storm because it still gives them the resource. Yeah, I really am not a fan of non-deterministic combos. It's just like KCI was one of the least fun decks to play against, in my opinion. Oh, you have a 15-minute turn. Like, come on. Urza, I feel similarly about Urza. I think the printing of Urza was a huge mistake. Oh, man. Fox, I know you don't live in the United States of America, but let me just tell you, our healthcare system is messed up. I live in Massachusetts, which has supposed to be the best healthcare, or one of the best healthcare states in the entire country. Right? I'm going to tell... I mean, I would keep this 4. Alright, this is better. So, in Massachusetts, we're supposed to have like the best healthcare out of pretty much any state, right? I own a small business, and because of that, I have to jump through hoops for health insurance. And those hoops are, my income fluctuates greatly. Like, I made 3 times as much money last year as I'm going to make this year. But they judge me on the last 3 years' income, which I don't think is particularly fair. But who am I to judge, you know, the healthcare system? So they're telling me that 1 year I had a certain rate, and I had to pay a rate based on how much you make, which in itself is very arbitrary because how much I make is entirely dependent upon how much I spend. I can literally make my income less because I own a business by spending more. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. If I'm, okay, you're casting Grape Shot, killing Druid, right? Yeah. Yep, this is good. Storm players do this. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I have, oh, okay, Druid. I have health insurance. I pay for it. I'm happy with it. You know, it's obviously more expensive than I would like, but whatever. I have it. It's fine. Okay? I'm not even a big business. I'm a small business, right? So I have my business. I'm fine. I'm happy. Great. They send me a letter saying I'm making too much money. And Oh, I almost brought in Plague Engineer. And I was like, no, Storm shouldn't bring in Empty the Warrens against Devoted Druid, but here we are. Here we are. Okay, opponent tapped out, so if we draw Vizier, we win, right? Oh, come on. Alright, this story is going to take forever to tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm just going to cast a bunch of Devoted Druids. And then hold Ranger for next turn. So I have health insurance, and then they tell me they found out I made too much money for the health insurance coverage I had, which was still expensive and still required a decent copay, which meant I'm really not allowed to get sick or anything, but I get fined if I don't have health insurance. So, okay, I guess I'll have it. Man. Vizier. No? Okay. Yeah, many small businesses have gone out of business. I used to work for a lobbyist group that fought for small business rights, and the number one killer of small business in New England was health insurance costs. So health insurance costs are a lot. Now I get a letter saying you no longer qualify for health insurance under the state. We cancel your coverage. And my wife has a doctor's appointment, just like a routine, annual physical. And she hasn't the appointment the next day, and she's like, well, what happened? And I'm saying, well, this letter says we have no health insurance effective a week ago. So I guess I don't know, you can go, but we pay out of pocket. So she ended up canceling. And I wish she hadn't, but what can I do, what were we don't know what's going on. So we get this letter a month ago. It says we have no health insurance. I've called a million places trying to get health insurance. I've called a bunch of places. I called this the Obamacare phone number, but because there's certain rules that apply, I can't get that for some reason. So I don't even know what's going on. I'm just not happy. I don't have health insurance. So I call this phone number telling me that I'm supposed to be able to get health insurance through this system. Since that time, I've averaged 4 spam phone calls a day, including spam text messages, one of which I just got. Here, I can show you guys. That's what I'm rolling my head. So, you can't actually see it because it's too bright. It's from number 94494. Michael, don't overpay for health insurance. You are eligible for an affordable health plan in MA. Call me at 888-738-5124 or text STOP. If you text STOP, they charge you $1. So I signed up trying to get Obamacare, trying to get the Affordable Care Act, trying to get health insurance, because I got a letter from my state saying I no longer cover for health insurance. So I spent 3 days of work. I took them off, which meant I didn't make any money, trying to get health insurance. The end result is, I let my opponent lightning bolt it because I'm too busy telling the story. All right, I'm dead. The end result is that I took time off of work trying to get health insurance. I got a bunch of quotes that I tried so hard to get a quote just for health insurance, but apparently, they don't want to tell you how much your health insurance costs until they determine how much money you make. And I have every last detail about you, which I wasn't comfortable with giving. I just wanted a generic quote for health insurance. Just let me pay money so when I'm sick, I can afford a doctor. This is a month, actually, I think it's 2 months ago now. It was October. And the problem here is I don't know if I have health insurance or not, but I didn't cancel my auto pay. So Mass Health, which is the Massachusetts Obamacare, Mass Health is still deducting money from me every single month as if I still have my old plan. But they sent me a letter saying I no longer am covered. Now I'm terrified of saying, hold up, stop taking my money if I'm not covered, because I don't want them to say, well, so you're not covered. Yeah, we'll stop taking your money. You have no health insurance. So I've been on auto pay for the last 2 months, despite the fact that they sent me a letter saying I have no coverage. In today, December 9th, 2019, I received a letter in the mail for my wife and I's new health insurance cards through Mass Health. I've gotten now 2 letters, I didn't include that part, saying I'm no longer covered, but they just sent me my new cards. It's been on auto pay. They just sent me, like I'm holding it in my hand, they just sent me my new Boston Medical Center Health Net Plan BMC health insurance card. I mean, it's ridiculous. This plan is terrible. If I go to the ER, I have to spend $350 after deductible. Which is 3 times worse than my last plan. I used to go in ER, $100. Yeah. Here's my copay. I went to the ER, spent $100, whatever. So I don't even get to pick my health insurance coverage. I get letters saying I'm not covered. I stress out because they tell me I have no coverage. They keep billing me. They keep taking my money in auto pay every single month. And now I have health insurance. Can anyone explain how this system isn't broken to me? What makes it even less broken is that I'm 32 years old, right? My wife is 29. We're young. We're healthy. We have no pre-existing conditions. Why do I have to pay so much for health insurance to begin with? Is beyond me. Like, we should be a gold mine. But yeah, American healthcare is, and this is supposed to be in one of the most, one of the best states for health insurance, in Massachusetts. We're I think other than New York, maybe the most progressive state in the entire country, and I don't know. So that's been a headache I've been dealing with. How much time does it take to make an appointment? I mean, I have a local, so it uses, this is what blows my mind, because I remember I worked for a lobbyist group for a while, but it caused me to lose hair. I was way too stressed. I just hate it. So it doesn't take that long to make an appointment at all. It's brilliant. I have 4 miles down the road, and I live in the middle of nowhere. I think it's 4 miles down the road is my doctor, my primary care doctor. I go visit. If I'm sick, I give her a call and say, hey, I'm sick. I can get in pretty quick. They'll usually be like, okay, we'll see you in a week. But I'm like, no, I'm really sick. They'll be like, okay, we have room for you tomorrow or today. And I'm like, great. But if you don't say you're really sick, they'll just be like, yeah, we'll put you off. Oh, yeah, it's a nagging injury. Yeah, you can come back in some time. There is a stoplight within 4 miles of me. I think there might even be 2 stoplights within a 4 mile radius of me. So there, take that. Yeah, so I got bit by a tick, and Lyme disease is rampant in New England. And I had the ring and everything. I was like, oh man, I need the whatever antibiotic you get. So I went. Lyme disease is evil, absolutely. So I went to my doctor and I said, "Hey, I have the ring. Like, can I just get the medicine? I don't need the whole spiel. I don't need everything. Just give me the antibiotic. Like, look, like I need the antibiotic so I don't get super sick." And because of the way it worked out, and because I didn't wait the proper time frame for my insurance to kick in, I had to pay for the medicine out of pocket. It was either like I get the medicine today and I spend for it out of pocket, or I wait 2 weeks. Now I don't know if you guys know what Lyme disease is, but if you wait 2 weeks when you have Lyme disease, what? God, you have Lyme disease now. Like yeah, it's not good. So I was like, yes, I have health insurance. I pay for health insurance every single month, but sure, it wants me to die. Like, come on. Now, back in 2007. Back in 2007, I went to the doctors, and I just was feeling a little off, so I went to the doctors, and they ran some tests, and they said, "Oh, okay, good news, you don't have Lyme disease." I said, "Great, but since you've run those tests, I saw the ring the ring." So I pulled up my shirt and I said, "But this just appeared like yesterday." And they were like, "Oh," there's like 6 doctors in the room. Like, "Oh, interesting." And I was like, okay, this is a really small doctor's office in Northbridge, Massachusetts. Like, why are there 6 doctors in the room? They left. I could hear them talking outside the little like waiting room. They come back in. They say, "Well, you have Lyme disease." And I say, "You just told me the test said I don't have it, and now you're telling me I do have it." And they said, "Good news is here's the medicine." I said, "Well, if I didn't lift up my shirt, you would have misdiagnosed me." Like, it just blows my mind how inept this entire system is. In Brazil, it's free. Everyone's covered. It can take you 3 months to do something simple. That's not good either. Yeah, there's got to be a much, much better plan. Like, there's got to be some system where if you're sick, you get help. If it's just something meh, like, honestly, like my shoulder has been like kind of acting up. I blame my wife because she like sleeps in my arm, and after like 10 years of her sleeping on the same shoulder, like, yeah, it's kind of like stiff sometimes, Should I get priority when I go to the doctor's office? No, not at all. If I'm super sick and I walk in, should I go to the front of the line? Absolutely. Yeah. Swap sides of the bed. I should try that. So both shoulders hurt. Thanks. I would actually rather this shoulder hurt because I throw right-handed. So if I ever want to like throw like a football around or anything else. Yeah. So I don't mind. Maybe one of you. I pay a decent amount of taxes. I pay an extra 10% on top just because I'm a small business owner. Which, think about that for a second. I own a small business. I pay 10% more taxes just straight off the bat because I own a small business. Why? Thank you, Massachusetts. I don't mind paying taxes as long as I like where the money's going. And by like, I mean, it doesn't have to be me liking it. Like, I don't get any use out of a lot of things that our government spends money on. But I'm okay with it because it helps somebody else. I'm not getting an abortion. Some people need that. Okay. Like, there's just so many different things. Yeah, Massachusetts just hates small business. Connecticut's worse. Connecticut's much, much worse. All right, let's do one more league if you guys want. What do you guys want? What should we do? Yeah, my right hand's my mouse hand. Boop, boop, boop. All in Druid. Oh. I mean, we could. I was actually thinking like Druid Karn with Oko. Yeah, if things work, I don't mind it. But I got when I worked at the lobbyist group, I got so fed up with how much waste and how much bureaucracy and how much just like just think of it this way. If and this is just a common analogy that I think resonates with a lot of people. Your neighbor knows the dog catcher, right? They know this local dog catcher. So whenever there's that troublesome neighbor's dog who gets out there, boop boop boop. Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna call Frank. Boop boop boop. And they call Frank, and Frank the dog catcher says, "Oh, whoa, I'm gonna deal with you. I'm gonna handle you first. You're my priority. I have this whole queue, but I know you. You're my friend. We drink beers together. We go bowling together. Whatever it is, I'm gonna handle your case first." People accept that. People accept the fact that that type of situation happens, right? But that is political corruption. At the end of the day, that is the root of political corruption. Wait, you shouldn't get special priority with the dog catcher because you go bowling with them. You shouldn't. That's corruption. So I'm not a lobbyist. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a salesperson. So I was visiting local small business owners, and by local I mean whatever state I was in, because I was working for a national group. So I worked in Massachusetts, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island. I worked in Tennessee. So I've worked and visited, gone on the pavement, talked to small business owners, raised funds, done questionnaires, talked to them, heard them, had them cry literally on my shoulder, which I don't know if you guys, Blade Man can attest to. I'm not the best person to cry to. Like, I'm just not. So that alone was a little uncomfortable. And it just nothing changes. Yeah, true. People open up like strangely to strangers sometimes when they're willing to listen. I had one guy talk about how, I visited him his house, cold call. This is cold call. I just knew this guy owned a business because of Sheets, because he paid taxes, his business, and I knocked on his door, and he was a tax collector, and he just somehow after half an hour of talking, he just opened up his wife all of a sudden looked at him one day and just like started choking. Just off of nothing. And he drove her to the hospital as fast as he could, calling 911 on the way. But she was dead before they even arrived. And to this day, like she just like randomly just choked on like saliva and died. And this guy's like crying. And we're talking on his doorstep. And this is his new wife. Because this is like 5 years ago, and he's still obviously torn up about it. His new wife comes out of their camper, and she was getting ready so they could go on their like vacation together. Like they bought like an RV. And she comes out, and she hears him like crying over his ex-wife, and that is a situation I can tell you do not want to be in at all. Like you do not want to be in that situation at all. So yeah, it's just like it's also hard when people like ignorance is a real thing, and when you can see a politician who's actually trying, like I saw some politicians who are actually trying to fix the problem in the system and the political parties, and just this engine of misinformation just like crams and like just, oh, this candidate voted against this bill, that means they hate women. Like, but they voted against the bill because the bill had 7 things on it, and they wanted one of them, which was the 4 women one, but the other 6 were terrible ideas. It's just political parties have become this group where they try to push bills that have one good thing and six bad things, and then when their opponents deny the bill, rightfully so, because it should just have the one thing, not all seven things, then it's later used a year later as fuel to attack that person's integrity. Like, that is just, like, okay, attack their voting records, but show the whole truth. Attack their integrity. It just, I don't know. Just maybe I'm too old for this. Mental health care providers, absolutely. Yeah, you have mental health is still really it's not talked about enough. And I was actually watching Sunday Night Football, which as a Patriots fan I won't go into, but I saw one of the players, their cleats, their cause was for humans with depression, because depression isn't even talked about enough. Depression is a real thing. It's not just, oh, buck up, you'll feel better. Oh, get working. Oh, get exercising. Oh, go do something. Oh, go hang out. No, that's not how you fix a problem that could be a hormone imbalance. That's not how you fix something. It's never been, oh, walk it off. I feel like that mentality needs to die. It's more important to win the debate. Absolutely, Ghost Dog. Bladehead, don't start that. I tweeted about it. I'm still burning up about it. The fact that for the NFL game, real quick, one or two sentences. The Patriots' last two losses at home had the same referee crew, and this is over a 22 game. This is a 22 game span. The last two losses had the same referee crew, and both losses had calls, very terrible calls that went against the Patriots. I'm just saying the same referee crew keeps making these bad calls against the Patriots. Yeah, depression is not just being sad. Being sad is something that happens on a daily basis. I can watch a commercial of those puppies. I can watch what is that most recent commercial? It's got to do with like an iPad or something, and like these kids are just like told to like go play, go watch a movie, go blah blah blah, and it's just like, but they end up like recording this video for their grandfather, reminding him of the grandmother. That's a sad commercial. It's really heartbreaking. That'll make you feel sad. That's sad. Depression is something totally different, and no one wants to talk about it. You're an expert on sports ball controversy. Oh, Steven, you sent me a list. Do I have Simian Spirit Guides? I think I do. I might have this whole deck. Do you guys... I only have 3 Okos, not 4. So hopefully that's not an issue. But... you guys want to see this list? Alright. Let's... I'm going to try to read chat while doing this. This is the last Honest Thief list I streamed here. This is a long time ago. So let's just make a new deck. Modern. This is Bant, right? Bant, Druid, Lunge, all in. Okay. Four Noble, beautiful. Ooh, it's got Duskwatch Recruiter. I like that. Okay, I got the Simian Spirit Guides. I have 2 Shalais. Alright, we're good to go so far. Should be able to import, right? Finale. I'm like half done though. So 1 forest, 1 breeding pool, 1 hallowed fountain, 4 horizon canopy, 2 misty rainforest. Man, I own too much on MTGO, huh? I'm just gonna do a snow-covered plains because it's more fun. 4 razor verge thicket, 1 temple garden, so 19 lands, beautiful. All right, let me check in. Yeah, I've never imported before. I've always just typed because I type okay. Have a good night, Ian. Sleep well. Night of Autumn with a caterpillar. I don't know if I have the caterpillar. All right. Imagine not owning the modern staple caustic caterpillar. Oh. All right. Well, let's Forge Tender, right? Which you guys all love, and I hate the card, but all right, we have Forge Tender. Only 2 paths seems interesting to me. Probably correct, though, in this list. I only have 1 Veil of Summer. Oof. So I need some Veil of Summers. So change Gaddock Teague, right? That's what you said. Revoker. Change Gaddock Teague for Revoker. Got Scavenging Ooze. Got Night of Autumn. We got Oko. Alright. So I need Veil of Summer. Is that the key card that I'm missing here? Alright, let's see if I have the caterpillar. Look, no caterpillar. So one thing I don't like about Pioneer is because I don't know the format as well, I lost a ton of play points playing Pioneer. Like every once in a while I'll just lose some... Oh, this is off foils? I don't want the foils. No, thank you. No, thank you. I've been losing so many ticks playing Pioneer, and I was going infinite in Modern, and despite the fact that I play a lot of really bad decks. Veil. And this card is so bad. Why do you guys want to run Caustic Caterpillar? It's the truth? Really? What am I missing? Oh, I'm missing the 4th Oko. So, are you guys okay if the 4th Oko is a Ranger Captain? Is that what I'm missing? Alright, cut one. Cut one from here. You want Mirren Crusader? I can do that. I can do that. Well, I can do Colossus. Got the Forge? Yeah, I don't like Forge Tender that much. I just feel like it doesn't do anything. I feel like if you Lunge is just a better Forge Tender anyway. And then I'll cut the Ranger Captain, and then this is a fine 15. What do you guys think? Looking over his list, that's pretty much it here. If you get angered, you're just not beating anger, you know? Really? You think Forge Tender is that much better than Knight of Autumn? Hey, Honest Thief! How's it going? Well, enjoy work. Honestly, I think I'd rather cut a Veil of Summer than the Knight of Autumn. I think Knight of Autumn is that important. Really? Alright, I guess life gain doesn't matter anymore. Alright, I'm going to refill my cup. You guys debate this list and tell me what you think. And then I'm going to start a new video. So, goodbye YouTube. See you on the next one.